Have you ever had raw beef? I have, and it's delicious. Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make beef tartare. This is not a Hungarian dish, but if you ask any Hungarian, I would say about 99% of them will say that they have had it, and I think most of them will say that they love it. The ingredients are really simple. You only need a few things, and you actually don't even need to cook this dish. Obviously, you're going to be eating raw beef. So let's talk about the ingredients. There are different ways to make this. There are actually a lot of different nations that have different garnishes and different spices. The main ingredients are beef. I would say sirloin, top sirloin, that type of beef. You do not want to buy the regular ground beef. You want to buy the steak yourself and then either grind it or chop it up into small pieces. You will need 1 egg yolk, and you will need some onions, and besides that, the spices may differ from house to house or nation to nation. The ones I'm using are salt, pepper, paprika, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, I think that's how you say it, and some mustard. Some people don't add the ketchup or maybe even omit the paprika, and they might add soy sauce and different things. So just try it this way and see what you think, and then you can always experiment with it. You will serve it with some toasted bread, and it will probably take you maybe 20 minutes to prep it, and then you will put it in the refrigerator for about an hour for all the flavors to kind of mingle and settle, and then you are ready to eat it. It is very important that you only use beef for this dish. Do not use pork. I would never eat raw pork unless it's bacon. You also don't want to use chicken or lamb or anything else, just beef. And definitely do not use any kind of wild meat. Deer or hogs or bear, no. Do not eat any wild meat raw, so stick to the beef. In Hungarian, we call this dish Tatar beef steak. Beef steak is a Hungarian way of saying beef steak. And the Tatars were people who lived in the Greater Asia. They actually had this region they named Tartary, and that's the word tartar sauce or beef tartar comes from. And this area was mostly Mongolia, some of China, some of the whole entire area. And then as geographers started to get to know the land more, then they divided them into smaller pieces. But this is where this dish comes from. And originally they even used horse meat. It was either horse or beef. And then Russian ships went to the port of Hamburg, and they actually have brought this dish to Germany, where it became very popular. And then later on, when some of the Germans immigrated to the United States, and they brought this dish with them, and it was called Hamburg style steak. And I would say this is where hamburger originated from. I always knew it. It has nothing to do with ham. It has to do with the town called Hamburg or Hamburg. Even up to the 1900s, they still serve this raw or slightly cooked. It wasn't until later, I think probably mostly to cater to the American population, they actually cooked it. It was probably more safe anyways. But this dish is very popular all over Europe. Everybody kind of puts their own spin on it, and you might not have ever heard of it or have ever tried it, so you might find it very surprising how popular it is all over the world. There are 2 ways to serve this dish. The first one calls for you to just basically prepare the meat and only add the onions, nothing else, no spices or anything. And then you form sort of a round ball, put a little hole in it, and add the egg yolk. And then you serve it like that. You put all the seasonings and the mustard and everything around it with the toasted bread, and your guests will basically just season it for themselves. In my opinion, it's a little bit messy because you have that egg yolk in the middle, and I don't know, I think it's gonna get kind of a big mess, but it's probably a unique experience, and a lot of the recipe books actually call for that. The way I like to do it is that you actually prepare everything and then you will serve it with toasted bread. And your guests can either put the meat on the bread or you can already do it for them. One last thing I would want to say is that, of course, you want to make sure you are healthy when you try this dish. You do not want to give it to somebody who has maybe a weak stomach or they have some kind of a low immune system or anything like that. Make sure that you buy good quality meat. That is very important because you will be eating raw meat. Take care of how you process your meat. Make sure everything is clean. And then you can definitely enjoy this dish. Hopefully you liked what you saw. Try it out. Let me know how you like it, if you have a different way of preparing it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.